Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Boyd Farm Outfitters. Farmers, the Nebraska Ag Expo is coming up on December 9th through 11th at the Sand Hills Global Event Center, and we'd love to see you there. Our team will be in two places at once, in the Boyd Farm Outfitters booth and the Green Eye Technology booth, which are both in the Currency building. In the meantime, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and X at BoydFO to see what we've been working on. Again, that's BOECKFO on social media. We look forward to seeing you at the Expo.
Staying profitable means finding smarter, more efficient ways to farm. Those decisions turn hard work into something worth passing down. Join us at the Sand Hills Global Event Center in Lincoln for the Nebraska Ag Expo on December 9th through 11th, where agriculture meets innovation. From big iron and livestock production to the latest in ag tech and soil health, discover the solutions that can help you do more with less and protect your legacy for generations to come. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT, from cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
The top-ranked Nebraska volleyball team is trying to play its way to the Final Four in Kansas City. Make your plans now to cheer on the Huskers with a VIP travel experience from Sports Trip and the Nebraska Alumni Association. Travel round trip from Lincoln in a luxury motor coach with free parking, plus an overnight stay at the beautiful Hotel Indigo in Kansas City. See details and register at HuskerAlumniTrip.com. Hurry, spots are limited. Register now at HuskerAlumniTrip.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the number one fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at CoppellCars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Boyd Farm Outfitters. Farmers, the Nebraska Ag Expo is coming up on December 9th through 11th at the Sandhills Global Event Center, and we'd love to see you there. Our team will be in two places at once, in the Boyd Farm Outfitters booth and the Green Eye Technology booth, which are both in the Currency building. In the meantime, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and X at BoydFO to see what we've been working on. Again, that's BOECKFO on social media. We look forward to seeing you at the Expo.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into Arden's Angle with myself, Arden Louchheim. New name. We got it sorted out. I think pretty confident this is going to be the one that we stick with. So could not be more pumped to join for another week. Got to hop on the mic earlier this week for the second edition of Big Red Birdies with my teammate, and now back for my own show. Talk sports, talk my life, kind of all that good stuff. As I talked about last week, still kind of sorting out exactly how I want this show to work, but I've had a couple new ideas. And I have to give my dad some credit, because he would always ask my older brother and I, when we came home from school, we had three questions. It was, what was the best part of your day? What was a random act of kindness you did? And the last one was a joke, but do I need to go beat anyone up? Which that one often came from my mom, actually, not my dad. And for reference, my mom is a 4'11" little Asian lady. But I bet you she would beat someone up for me or my brother.
That's a good mom right there.
It's a great mom. But I wanted to take kind of some of that and go the best part of, not my day, but best part of my week, just injecting a little bit of myself into the show. And I think I do have a unique perspective as a student athlete and a broadcaster. So best part of my last week is how we'll start these shows. This week's a little different because it's dead week. So we can't have any required practice. So there's been a lot of practicing on my own. But a really, really great part about this week has been something that we do with the Husker Life Skills Department. And we give out different gift bags to many different elementary schools. There's a lot of different volunteering opportunities that come with the Life Skills Department, who I work with a lot, and I love volunteering. That's kind of something I like to do on the side that fills my cup and kind of is a good way to spend my time outside of the broadcasting and the sports. So we went to Elliott Elementary yesterday. We went to Pershing Elementary today, passed out gift bags, talked to the kids, met some really awesome fifth graders. So that was definitely the best part of my last week. I guess it was two parts. But that was the best part. And then also I actually just came from, I just washed my hands, but they were covered in paint because I was at a different volunteering thing that was Nature Crafts Night. It was hosted by Big Gumdrop Outdoors, which is another organization we volunteer with.
They've been in the studio before.
Oh, really?
As well. Yeah.
So they're awesome. They just had a really fun nature night. So there was kids painting decoy ducks. They were making little ornaments with pine cones, and that was really fun as well. So best part of my last week has definitely been all the volunteering I've gotten to do. It's been a nice break from studying and prepping for finals and all that good stuff, which is next week. So yeah, that's my best part of my week, inspired by my dad. You guys let me know if there's anyone I have to go beat up for any of you guys. I'll take on my mom's role. And then the rest of the show is going to look similar. New thing I'm adding, I'm doing Arden's All-Star.
Across all sports?
All sports.
Okay.
Yep. It'll be Arden's All-Star of the week. I'm deciding if I want to do Husker and non-Husker. That's what I did this week, but we'll see. And then after that, it'll just be my actual angles, my takes of the week, and then we'll end off with games to watch like we did last week. So that'll be the current form of the show until further notice, but I think it sounds decent to me. So starting off, Arden's All-Star of the week, it's Audie Crooks. Iowa State. She's leading the nation right now in points per game, 27.8. I was watching her last night. I try to watch a decent amount of college basketball, but I often get caught just watching the Huskers because this year especially, why would I not? But last night I was in my friend's apartment and she's from Iowa. So we were watching Iowa State, Iowa, and Audie Crooks is an absolute menace. Her last three games, 47 points, 30 points, 30 points. Just absolutely phenomenal stuff to go along with her nation-leading points per game average. And I think the bigger takeaway there, she powered number 10 Iowa State over number 11 Iowa. So a massive rivalry game there. My friend, my teammate actually, Eden, she's from Ames, Iowa. So she's a big Iowa State fan. And she was trying to explain to me the importance that basketball game has for the pride of Cyclone fans. I don't think she could quite express it, but I could tell that one was important.
Yeah, Chris has been absolutely incredible. And you look at the numbers, but then once again, she's doing it on incredible efficiency. And what she's doing for the sport right now is she just makes it look easy. She's one of those players when you watch her, there's not a whole lot of wasted effort and time with her. It's just pretty basketball. And I mean, one of the best things about her is she's got a great basketball IQ. I mean, she'll take the easy shot every time you give it to her.
Every time a lot of what Iowa State was doing last night was just kind of a feed into the paint and let Crooks do her thing, because she has kind of a size advantage over most of the players she's going to play against. But also what was more surprising to me that I just don't think I had noticed until I watched her last night, she hit these 4 just feathery fadeaways where she, puts her back into the defender, acts like she's going to the rim, and just uses her pivot foot, spins and throws it up. And it was, it looked like Steph Curry with his handles and the agility, and yet it's also someone who can go in the paint and, win the physical battle. So Audie Crooks, my all-star of the week. She's also averaging 6.2 rebounds a game as well. So,
and if she starts knocking down those free throws as well, she's had some good games where she's starting to get that back up there, but then she's going to be in that close to unstoppable range, because I don't know what you do with her if you can't foul her.
She took over in that second half. It was tied 35-35 in the second quarter. And then the Cyclones just kind of went on a run, and that was largely just feeding it to Crooks, letting her do her thing. So it was kind of funny to watch a Hawkeye game and not have the star of the game be on the Hawkeyes with Caitlin Clark the last few years. But Audie Crooks, I think, is, becoming the face of women's college basketball for sure. And I think it's exciting to see, because you saw the amount of hype that could surround a player like Caitlin Clark and the impact that she could have on the game. And I would say she's now also having that as she's entered into the WNBA. And so then kind of having someone fill that void and take over that role with Crooks is awesome. And also to kind of do it as a different style player than Caitlin Clark was. She was a bit, a lot of the long three and stuff like that. And Crooks is just truly playing hard fought physical basketball.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And early on in the year, she had a really big game. And I think, what'd she have in that one? She had one where, she was 18 for 23 earlier in November, but she's just kept it up. I mean, every single game, it's been a consistent effort. So as long as she stays healthy, she'll be one of those names when we get to March Madness with the women's side, where if she's in that mix and they make it to the Final Four, the semifinals, they'll make some noise. They'll be drawing in some serious numbers, I'd imagine, because it wasn't too long ago. I think it was that Iowa LSU series where the women's March Madness had higher viewership than the men's March Madness.
Yeah.
So you got another star right here with Audie Crooks. So I'd imagine that if she keeps playing the way that she is, she'll draw a ton of eyes when we get to postseason.
It's so good for the sport and just so good for women's athletics as a whole. What I loved about what Caitlin Clark is doing and now what Audie Crooks is doing is that people are no longer just saying, wow, she's really good for a girl. There's no longer that qualifier. It's just that what they're doing is incredibly impressive. It was, what Serena Williams did, she was not just in the conversation for the greatest athlete of all time or greatest female athlete of all time. She's in the conversation for greatest athlete of all time. And I think that's so good for women's sports, is to have a player who's not just good for a girl, but is actually just a phenomenal player and is recognized for that. And then over to my Arden's Husker All-Star of the Week. I'm going to give it over to Rank Mast. 17 points last night in just an absolute steamroll of a win. He's been so efficient all year, and I think he's one of you could name a lot of reasons for why the Huskers are having the year that they are on the men's basketball side. I think, players like Sam Hoiberg and Price Sanford are really stepping into their roles and, doing exactly what's asked of them. But Rank Mast is someone who wasn't present last year, is back this year. And, he had that triple-double already this year, is just making a massive impact.
I want to ask you, how hard was it to select the Husker this week?
It was very difficult because
there's been a lot of them.
There's Callan Hake, who just had her career high over Omaha. I would actually say the Husker volleyball game was not that impressive. It was one of their worst performances of the year. So it's hard to say that because they swept, but statistically, I will touch on that later today or tonight. And the volleyball players weren't quite in that, but between the two basketball teams, it was pretty difficult. I was thinking Berke, just, the image of him bleeding and hyping up the fans.
Gladiator-esque.
Exactly.
People fired up.
But from a solely statistical perspective and looking at, because this is my first week doing my Husker All-Star, I wanted to acknowledge the rest of the year. And Rank Mast has just been such a great addition to the team. He's reliable night in and night out, providing not just on the offensive side, but also on the defensive side. And I think that his presence can't be overstated in kind of the almost turnaround that the Huskers have had this year.
Bro, he's been absolutely incredible. And we've talked about that a lot with his return. I think it was that last year or 2 years ago, was that Kansas State game where the initial injury happened. And then we realized he's got to miss an entire season. I mean, he was that best player on that team, you could argue, even with that Keisei Tamanaga run. And then last year, I can only imagine how good the team would have been if he was still on that roster with Bryce Williams, Juwan Gary. But this year, to see him, be as sharp as he is, and then his playmaking ability, Fred Hoiberg loves those type of players. He had a little bit in Derek Walker as well, but Rink Mast takes it to another level with his ability to stretch the floor. Not a better fit for the amount of the players and the three-point shooters they have to get Rink Mast in the middle. And this looks like the most Fred Hoiberg basketball team I've seen so far since he got down here in 2018. Are coaches in prospect for Husker of the Week?
That's a great question.
Because Fred Hoiberg might be up there too. The first time 10-0 since 1972.
Yeah, ties the best start for any Husker men's basketball team. Looking one more win away from getting that record. So there's a lot of records on the board right now. I have that's what we'll touch on next. Is I want to always start off my takes of the week by starting with a Husker focus, and so we can move right along to that. I just want to talk about the concept of a winning culture and whether that is a thing, because I think right now at the Huskers organization, it fully is. The men's basketball team, everyone's probably seen the graphic on Instagram. Men's basketball team 10-0, women's basketball team 10-0, volleyball 32-0. They are a combined 52-0, and that's in those three sports that most schools have. Also have to acknowledge I don't know a lot about it. I'm going to put that right out up front. But our rifle team is also undefeated.
Yeah, I was looking at that before, and they've been taking down, it's not just undefeated, they're taking down the best teams in that sport.
They've set, I have a like I said, not super involved or knowledgeable about rifle, but I do have a friend on the team, Camilla Johannesson, and she's been telling me all about it. They're setting records every single week, so can't be left out.
I mean, they humbled Navy and Army. I mean, which says a lot when it comes to a rifle shooting competition.
Schools. Yeah. And they better be, considering their Army and Navy.
Exactly.
But so yeah, acknowledging rifle there. But going in, men's basketball 10-0, you just said it, best start in school history. Absolutely steamrolled Wisconsin, 90-60, and it wasn't really close after the first 10 minutes. I mean, the Huskers just took over the game. It was a slower start, and then just everything started working together. I think that PBA and the presence that the Husker fans have is also a massive impact. It's known to be one of the hardest stadiums to play in. They had that record going last year of this winning home game straight, and it was in both men's and women's basketball. So Husker fans are always going to stand behind the team. And then when they have a reason to stand behind the team, because let's be honest, Husker fans have supported our football team for years that they, not that they shouldn't have, but there wasn't a lot to support.
Yeah.
Now that they have something to support, Husker fans bleed red to a degree that I have never seen before in many fan bases. And I think that was so obvious with how the Huskers got up to that 30-point win last night, because I think it was a situation where they outplayed the other team, they outperformed them, and then they were at home with barricade bleeding and firing up the fans. And I think you have to add on a few extra points to the margin just because of that.
Oh, it was awesome. And then that Burkhead to get the block on top of it. It's not like he just got banged up. Like, he got banged up, but he got the block with it. So, he'd probably do it all over again if he could. It was one of the most dominant games we've seen. Like you said, it was 21-19 at one point, Badgers leading. They responded with a 40-18 run after that. And then the Badgers got a little bit of offense. And then once again, the Huskers just absolutely clamped down on them. Start to finish. And what impressed me the most, and again, I think it's what the men and women's team are doing so well this year, is the really patient play and absolutely refusing to take anything but the best shot on the shot clock. And even when they're at home and it feels like you got a little bit of an angry Husker fan base at first, more at the refs. They weren't really upset with the basketball team. And you might have guys the past feeling like they want to take a shot, try to get the momentum back. They just played for Fred Hoiberg's offense the entire game through. You just don't see a lot of rush shots on the men's or women's team. And I think that's, what allowed to a 30-point domination is even when they were up by 20, they kept running the same offense all the way through until they got the shot they wanted.
And you have to think about it too. You talked about this is the most Fred Hoiberg team you've seen. Amy Williams in her 10th year, This team is also looking pretty close to what she likes to see. I've been at a couple of their shoot arounds, and being the coach that she is and how passionate she is, she'll always be the first to tell you things they're doing wrong. I think like many coaches, but a lot of what they're doing with the really quick ball movement, you'll see there are many plays where the ball won't hit the floor in the first 4 passes, and that's kind of what I think Amy Williams likes to do. So on that side too, the team is kind of both taking the shape that I think coaches want. And it's actually funny, both of those teams have a coach's kid on it. Sam Hoiberg also having more of an impact than Kennedy Williams. But I love watching both of those players play because you can always tell when it's a coach's kid, because they will be the first ones on the floor when there's a 50-50 ball. They will be the ones who are doing the dirty work that no one else wants to do, of making sure that their cuts are clean and their off-ball movement is where it needs to be. And that just little stuff that truly does win games and sets the precedent, I think is huge. So Kennedy Williams, she redshirted last year. She's now playing this year, not putting up major numbers, but there's been multiple instances this year where she's the one flying across the floor and trying to get that 50-50 ball. And I really think that being a coach's kid shows when you are out on the court.
Oh, you can always see it because they make the right play, whether it's a simple pass or taking what's in front of them. Both those players do that really well, and we'll see. With Sam Hoiberg, how he keeps elevating his game, because he's just been incredible this season. You're really seeing him attack the rim a whole lot more. But yeah, the coach's kid, you can't always. It used to be like a negative term. I know Sam Hoiberg talked about how that used to bother him. So it's really fun to see him at this point in his career be as good as he is, knowing at one point in time, that term, he felt it as a little bit of a slight.
Over looking at the women's basketball team, we mentioned it. They're 10-0. Callan Haig tied her career high, 17 points, and just a huge win over Omaha. Didn't actually cover the spread in that win. They were
was it 62.5?
Yep, 62.5 point favorite. I think they won by about 50. But right now, the Huskers tied their 3rd longest winning streak in school history, and they have a school record 10 straight 80-plus point games. That was the win over Penn State was their most points versus a Big Ten conference opponent in school history. So record-setting behavior right now by both the men's and women's basketball teams. And I think that to talk about the kind of winning culture, I feel like for both of those teams, that level of patience is so important. And the reason that you can have that patience is you have the confidence that you're good enough to win and that you'll be good enough to come back. I think sometimes you can feel it with our football team right now, is the second something goes wrong, everyone's first reaction is, oh no. Whereas for basketball, you have that 21, you're losing by, 21-19. There's not that fear of, oh, it's over. The team has it in them to come back. The women's basketball team hasn't really faced, I don't think they've trailed much yet at all. But for them, I think it'll still be that moment of when they do have that first kind of adversity that they faced this year, because you have those 10 wins stacked and, going back into last year, you have a couple too. That shows that you have the ability to win. You have the ability to come back. And the more that time goes on is actually in your benefit, because they're going to be entering a lot of these games as the better team. My dad used to always tell me when I was playing ping pong against my brother, he was better than me. And so my dad said, if you want to win, play to 11, because that's your best chance to win. Shorten the game, give yourself a chance to get hot early and then just take advantage. Right now, the Huskers do well if every game, if we're talking ping pong, still going to 21. The more that the game goes on, they're likely the better team that's going to benefit them. And I'm not sure that either of those basketball teams have been in that position in a very long time.
No, certainly not the men's. I can tell you that. It's going to be, really interesting to see through. It feels like that winning culture set in. You're seeing a little bit of that killer mindset. But you don't know until you see it. There's going to be plenty of Big Ten games, and both for the men and women's, where they're really going to get tested here. I know, particularly on the men's side, Michigan, I'd have to look when Nebraska basketball gets them on their schedule, but it's a good year in the Big Ten for the women's and men. So they're going to have those opportunities to really get tested. I'd imagine earlier, as both are in Big Ten conference play now.
Yeah, finally, that was the men's team's first conference. So they're 1-0. Women also 1-0 in conference after a massive win over Penn State. And then it's crazy that we're having a Husker segment and it is NCAA tournament season and we haven't touched on volleyball yet. I think that is a testament to how good basketball is looking. But
real quick, just because we got it on YouTube, but Joe chimes in here. He says, "Go Big Fred needs to be on a Husker basketball t-shirt or sweatshirt."
I love it. Let's make it happen. Call Adidas, call all the people. Go Big Fred. Heard it here first on Arden's Angle. I love that. But yeah, volleyball, they're 32-0. They have their matchup against Kansas this Friday. The team hasn't dropped a set since November 14th at UCLA, and they swept Kansas State. That game against Kansas has, many repercussions, along with getting them into the quarterfinal of the NCAA tournament. I'm going to save a little bit of that just as a bit of a, maybe a hint towards what we have later, because I'll have my games of the week, and I think that Kansas match might sneak in there. So we'll touch on that. But ahead, I wanted to talk more about retirement because Phillip Rivers is 44 and somehow suiting up for the Chargers again. We'll talk about Notre Dame's decision not to play in the bowl game. A little bit about F1, actually.
Nice.
Mix some car racing in there. And then I also wanted to talk about the transfer portal. I know it's like beating a dead horse, but given that the volleyball transfer portal has opened, I think that I could have a unique perspective on it, being an athlete myself, and having time spent dealing with the transfer portal, having it open at weird times for me in my past few years, and all of that good stuff. So we'll talk about kind of all of those things. I guess, Harrison, do we have time to jump into one of those, or should we kind of keep talking Husker ball?
Let's, since we're about a minute away, you guys are welcome to join in. 402-464-5685. We ought to throw it to break now, but I'll let you tease what you want to start with on the other side.
When we come back with it, we'll be talking Phillip Rivers retirement. If you listened last week, we talked about the retirement discussion. And we'll continue on with that in an ever-fitting conversation with the fact that Phillip Rivers is older than 12 different head coaches in the NFL. We'll be
Don't
right
go
back.
anywhere.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Boyd Farm Outfitters. Farmers, the Nebraska Ag Expo is coming up on December 9th through 11th at the Sandhills Global Event Center, and we'd love to see you there. Our team will be in two places at once, in the Boyd Farm Outfitters booth and the Green Eye Technology booth, which are both in the Currency building. In the meantime, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and X at BoydFO to see what we've been working on. Again, that's BOECKFO on social media. We look forward to seeing you at the Expo.
Staying profitable means finding smarter, more efficient ways to farm. Those decisions turn hard work into something worth passing down. Join us at the Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln for the Nebraska Ag Expo on December 9th through 11th, where agriculture meets innovation. From big iron and livestock production to the latest in ag tech and soil health, discover the solutions that can help you do more with less and protect your legacy for generations to come. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT, from cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
The top-ranked Nebraska volleyball team is trying to play its way to the Final Four in Kansas City. Make your plans now to cheer on the Huskers with a VIP travel experience from Sports Trip and the Nebraska Alumni Association. Travel round trip from Lincoln in a luxury motor coach with free parking. plus an overnight stay at the beautiful Hotel Indigo in Kansas City. See details and register at HuskerAlumniTrip.com. Hurry, spots are limited. Register now at HuskerAlumniTrip.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at koppelcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Arden's Angle with myself, Arden Louchheim, joined with the lovely Harrison producing for me tonight. We'll get into, like I said, my takes this week. We talked about how on fire the Huskers are, concept of that winning culture. Now, I wanted to move back into the retirement discussion. Last week, Serena Williams had talked to some of the tennis federations about possibly, getting her name back in the hat for drug tests. And that's what brought this all up is, the concept of athletes coming out of retirement or elongating their careers and our thoughts on it. I always said, I don't think you'll be remembered for the end of your career. I think that if you truly are one of the GOATs, you have the right to keep playing as long as you want. I don't think you can really put a damper on your career. And, it's a unique ability to get to play a sport at the pro level and do what you love at that level. So why not let people do it for as long as they want? But this Phillip Rivers situation, rejoining the Chargers, it's unique. He's 44. I mentioned it. He's older than, a dozen of the head coaches in the NFL. And then with Justin Herbert going down, Riley Leonard dealing with his own leg injury, I'm surprised that he was their best option to call in, but I guess he was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's absolutely nuts. It's the Colts, right? Not the Chargers?
Oh yeah, Colts.
Okay.
I kept saying Chargers.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where he retired.
Yeah, that's where he retired. But I don't know. I was thinking maybe Andrew Luck before we get to Rivers, but Phillip Rivers gonna be coming back. I have no idea. I feel weird about it. At 44, he's gonna come in here and look awesome, or it's gonna be worst case scenario.
What was funny to me was the one of the headlines I saw was that Phillip Rivers' return to the Colts will delay his Hall of Fame bid because he'll still be active. Yeah. I was like, what a line. And meanwhile, I think the reason the Chargers are in my head, I think they're retiring his jersey, or it has been retired, or something crazy like that. If he goes and plays the Chargers, he'll be playing in a stadium where his jersey is retired, which is just a absolutely crazy concept. But I think it is interesting. I was talking to someone the other week about Lindsey Vonn, who we touched on her last week, and whether she was taking spots of up and coming racers who, were trying to break into that World Cup circuit. And for Lindsey Vonn, the answer was no, because she came out of retirement and then finished second at a speed event over in Sun Valley, and actually plugging ski racing. The first speed event is happening. It'll be 4:15 Eastern time, so 2:15 a.m. here in Nebraska. So I don't think anyone's waking up for that. But Lindsey Vonn's comeback will continue tomorrow morning, and she's not taking away spots from other people who deserve them because she's still beating them. Well, if you think for Phillip Rivers, is he taking away spots from other second or third string quarterbacks who could be starting their career? The test will see. They're playing the Seahawks this week. And so,
yeah, I never look at it as like you're taking spots, because, if they roll him out there and it looks bad, they'll yank him.
yeah, they'll take him away right away. But, I do think you have a level of that QB knowledge when you're under center, and, you can read the plays and stuff like that. That doesn't go away. It's just a matter of, can your 44-year-old body keep up with the fact that you are playing a sport where you're absolutely obliterated multiple times a game?
Yeah, like you'll feel good about them, I think, in some games, but you're going to have those games where, say, they match up versus the Packers or the Texans, like two of those defenses, or even the Broncos, like defensive fronts that are really going to get after you and put a lot of pressure and try to attack the QB, even if it's not sacks, just get pressures on him as much as possible. Like, those are the games that scare you. Even with Daniel Jones and, with him getting hurt, I don't think too many people were surprised by it. He wasn't super healthy to begin with, and then he goes taken down, and the Achilles is gone. With Rivers, 44, like, I don't know if you take a huge hit, especially playing like the team like the Texans right now, who, they bring four and they're still getting pressure consistently without having to blitz. Yeah, you just get nervous. The same way I get nervous when I'm kind of looking at Tua play. Like,
Yes.
I just don't know when is the next throw or the next hit that's going to take you out. That's how I felt about Daniel Jones. So I feel every time watching Tua right now, even Aaron Rodgers a little bit sometimes, and Phillip Rivers, I'll be in that same boat.
Yeah. To be clear, obviously I got my teams mixed up. Chargers, where Phillip Rivers retired, now over with the Colts. Daniel Jones without Achilles, Riley Leonard with the leg injury. Justin Herbert balled out this week, over with the Chargers. He had surgery, and then not 5-6 days later, he was out winning an overtime game. So also an impressive and gutsy performance over from the current Chargers QB.
And I did look it up just a bit so we're all clear on it. His jersey is not officially retired.
Is it in the works?
It's in the works.
Okay.
So, but if he goes there, it won't be super awkward where he's got Phillip Rivers hanging retired.
That's better.
In the
I was going
Chargers.
to say, I'd read some stuff on it. I couldn't figure out if it was happening
Yeah,
or
it's
happened.
in the works, though.
In the works. Same with his Hall of Fame bid, which could this add to that story? Could this add to his odds of being in the Hall of Fame? I think it's, close to set, but you never know. So that'll be interesting to see. He's playing my Seahawks, and I hope he looks terrible for that sake, but it'll be interesting to see. I think it's a scary defense to go against in your first week back. The Seahawks, not just because I'm a fan, are looking as close as they have to the Legion of Boom a few years ago. And I think, one of the best defenses in the league. So it'll be a true test of Phillip Rivers, truly throwing him into shark-infested waters when he comes back.
Yeah, by all looks of it, he doesn't look super out of shape or anything. I'd imagine he's still been watching football. He wouldn't come back if he didn't still love football. Just going to be how much rust. And then I'll be curious to see what the Seahawks do against him. If you're going to try to bring a lot of pressure at him, if you're going to look at stuff all the way back from when he was with the Chargers, that's the only tape I guess you got to kind
I'd
of
be
see
so
where his
curious to
strengths
see
are.
what that Seahawks film room is like this week. But yeah, I mean, my guess, if I'm Mike McDonald, I'm bringing a lot of pressure out the gate, making him, if you can, scramble out of the pocket, because I really doubt he's that mobile. But, Mike McDonald, one of the best coaches in the league right now, I think he's 38. So he's 6 years younger than Phillip Rivers. He was one of those dozen coaches. It'll be interesting to see. Moving right along, still in football, but we're going to go to college football. Notre Dame, one of the most notable snubs from the college football playoffs. Not talking about the snub as much. I think you can really sign into most sports shows right now and hear about that. But I wanted to talk about the decision not to play a bowl game from a solely athlete perspective. Because if you're thinking about it, most of those players are not going to the NFL. And so for them, college is the highest level that they're going to play at. For the seniors, their career is just over. And so I think that while there are reasons to not play a bowl game, while it's making a statement, while it is all of those things, just solely looking from the athlete perspective, you're taking away a chance for them to play in the largest game of the year that they were probably going to have the chance to play in. And it was going to be a great game, regardless of what bowl they put them in. They're a high quality team. They were going to put them in a good bowl. Would have been great viewership. It would have been another opportunity.
They would have been able to pick whatever bowl you want.
Exactly. So I think I understand the reasoning behind it, but from just an athlete perspective, if I was in their shoes, if you suddenly told me, for us, we don't have bowl games, but if you said, hey, actually, we're not going to play in the Big Ten championship this year. And for me, that I would love to play golf after college, but it's really, really hard. And I know that this could very well be the highest level I ever play. And I take every single tournament that I get the chance to play in as such a gift and, such just like I said, like absolute, truly a gift that I get to play at this level and that there's a really finite number of those that you get to play. And so taking away a bowl game from those players for whatever reason is just so unfortunate at that level or for the players who are trying to show themselves. I know a lot of guys who are going for the draft might sit out, but those bubble guys who are just trying to have that one more breakout game or that one more game to separate themselves and make them stick out on a sheet, they're losing that opportunity as well.
Yeah, I don't understand any of it. I'll be honest. I can't understand the rationale. The only way I can see why they would do it which is to me like one of the more pathetic reasons, but you were in your feelings. Like it's money to your program. That is another opportunity for the Notre Dame fans are incredibly loyal. They will travel. They were disappointed that, maybe they felt snubbed, but they were going to go support that team and watch them. You can't tell me the third or fourth string quarterback who maybe this was their last opportunity or there isn't a lot of tape on them. And they realize even if they can't play at Notre Dame, that this would be a good opportunity to them get some tape out there, hit the portal, or show the coaches there that maybe you're better than what you think. We saw that with Nebraska last year at our bowl game. We had some players come out of the woodwork and then they played a lot this year. You can't tell me that everyone in that room raised their hand and said, yeah, you know what? I don't want to play. I don't know who makes the decision on those. If you make it a democracy vote with the players, if it's the coach's decision purely, or if it came down from up above, which again, that's money to the university. So I don't know why the AD would ever be a fan for it, but it's an awful thing because the bowl games just become less and less important. And with Notre Dame doing that, hopefully it doesn't have a ripple effect. But to me, it's wild that you would turn down that opportunity. I think doesn't do the players any favors whatsoever. You're losing out on money. And then, for all the moms and dads and family who had one more opportunity, they probably thought, well, no matter what, we'll get to see him one more time and play. And they woke up and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that season's over. We had no idea that was going to happen, but it's done.
And there's also something special about, I might be more sentimental as a girl or whatever it is, but there is something special about knowing that you're playing your last game. So for, our seniors last year at the Big Ten Championship, they knew that was their last tournament of the season. And you're still treating it like every other tournament and you're still trying to play your best. But when you walk up that 18th fairway, you can acknowledge, hey, this is the last time I'm going to do it, in the Husker N and in college golf. And you can have that moment because those are the ones that really stick with you for a long time. And so, you see people like Drew Brees when he, walked off the field in the Saints jersey for the last time. He looked around, he blew kisses to the fans, all of that stuff. And whether you like it or not, I think everyone likes to have that moment and at least the awareness that is their moment.
Mm-hmm.
And none of those Notre Dame seniors got to have that.
No, and the fans would have traveled to, again, whatever bowl game you want, Notre Dame, you would have been able to pick. We're talking a little short of $10 million. You're telling me that I'd imagine they're probably in the ballpark would be like 8 to 9 million, depending on the bowl game, but you're too good for that money. And just blows my mind. Like I said, I can't think of a single rationale behind why you'd make that decision other than being in the emotions, which if that's really the story, yikes. Not a good look for college football, and especially Notre Dame.
And like you said, the ripple effect concept or the possibility there is scary as well, because then it's just that word opportunities. You said it's taking it away from even more people. I think that's the unfortunate part of college athletics and football specifically becoming such a business. And, there's the whole issue with the Utah football team right now with their becoming a private business essentially. And that could create its whole other thing, which, maybe we'll leave that for another week. But I just think that on a very molecular level of just looking at the player. It's taking away those moments that, these players don't get to have anymore. And you talked about it too, the tape, kind of this brings us to the next discussion, but getting that tape and the opportunity to show yourself lends itself really well for the transfer portal, which is what I wanted to talk about next. It opened up for volleyball, which in itself I think is crazy that it opens up before the season ends. I think that's its own very odd situation, and I don't know how you time it exactly, but I don't know why you can't just move
get
it back
rid
a
of
few
that
weeks.
Because it's the same amount of portal windows in volleyball as there's football.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people talk about it. I'm a fan of it. Just cut that portal window out, and maybe you can extend when you only have just one, but it's way too complicated. It happens every single year. In college football, you see it. In volleyball, you see it. Like, that's way too much for coaches to manage right when it matters most. The portal opens.
So I think what's been forgotten a little bit with the portal is that when it's football, and even with these volleyball players and even in softball, there was a lot of money being thrown at certain players and stuff like that. But if you get below those, or if you're not one of those top players in volleyball or football or softball, and then you go over to myself in golf, there is almost no money in the transfer portal for golf. We are not a revenue generating sport. You're not getting drawn to places because of a certain monetary amount. I think, with soccer and a lot of the other sports like that, the men's golf and the tennis, it's not that you are getting a paycheck and that's why you're leaving somewhere. And I think that people have slightly forgotten that. I'm not saying that there's not money involved for the other sports, but sometimes a team is just truly not a good fit for someone. And I think that that's the great part of the transfer portal, is it gives kids the ability to leave a school that they're not happy at. And that's not to the fault of anyone, but maybe you just don't click with a coach, or maybe you don't click with your team and stuff like that. And there are going to be instances where money is a factor, but there's also going to be other instances where the transfer portal is a great thing, and the only motivating factor is just that you want to find a better fit of a school, and it's just that. So that's kind of, I wanted to add my 2 cents on that, because I think coming from a really not NIL impacted sport and a not money impacted sport, the transfer portal actually can be a very positive thing to give kids a second chance and find somewhere that fits for them. When we come back, we will talk about my final little discussion that I wanted to touch on that has to do with F1, and then we'll choose my game of the week and we'll call it a night. So we'll be right back here for Arden's Angle on 93.7 The Ticket.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that. Give the gift of a clean car this holiday. Buy your certificate at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call 402-601-5086 for an appointment today.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Ready, set, forward. Just announced 0% for 66 months with approved credit on all 2025 Ford F-150s at Zollner, Ford of Beatrice. Save thousands in finance charges. If your current pickup loan's 4, 5, 6% or more, trade in today and receive 0% for up to 66 months on a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 of your choice at Zollner, Ford of Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
One love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
This holiday season, bring home a tradition that tastes like celebration. Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake, baked in the heart of Nebraska with rich, golden batter, real cherries, pineapple, crunchy nuts, and a splash of old-fashioned goodness. It's moist, flavorful, and crafted the same way for generations. It's the fruitcake that turns skeptics into believers. Find Beatrice Bakery fruitcake online at grandmasbakeshop.com or at your favorite retailer, and make your holidays deliciously unforgettable with the help of Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in December. Try one of their delicious breakfast sandwiches or grilled breakfast burritos. Don't forget to snag a gift card for stocking stuffers and bring your family in from out of town. With 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward, Bagels and Joe.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through December 14th, enjoy USDA Choice 8-ounce New York Strip, $6.99 each, 85% lean ground beef, $4.98 per pound, all natural boneless chicken breasts, $2.48 per pound, and holiday gift boxes are available for $50. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Arden's Angle, final segment of the night. We're touching on my last take of the week, and then I'll give you my games to watch. We're going in a very different direction for my final take of the week, and it has to do with F1. Lando Norris just won the world championship. Big moment for McLaren, take it away from Max Verstappen. And with that world championship win, he gets the opportunity to choose the number 1 for his car number, his jersey number, next year. So all the drivers, if you don't watch F1, get a number just to make them more recognizable on the track, and then also for the teams from a promotional perspective to sell merch. And so Lando was always number 4, got the choice to switch to number 1. He took it. I guess first off, if you're in his spot, are you taking number 1?
Of course.
Yeah, have to. The only one, Lewis Hamilton, when he won, kept his number 44 every time he won. But also, Lewis was pretty well known for that number and was kind of his thing. Lando's just kind of been 4, and it was never something significant.
Holding on to 44 is cooler than holding on to 4.
Exactly. So then there brings the other question of Max Verstappen has been number 1 the last 3 years, and his old number was 33. So the question remains, is he going to go back to 33, or is he going to take number 3? Because Daniel Ricciardo, who was a Red Bull driver, then he bounced around to Renault and a little bit else. He's no longer a driver. So 3 is up for grabs. So will Verstappen grab that one? So just a little number switcheroo, but on a deeper context, I think F1's very interesting, especially in that final race, of the concept of the dynamics of a non-team team sport. And what I mean by that is Red Bull was using Yuki Tsunoda almost the entire race to somewhat hold off Lando Norris and try to help Max Verstappen, because Verstappen needed a win plus Lando to finish far enough back, and Yuki is the other Red Bull driver. And I think it's a very interesting debate of how much do you owe your teammate in that scenario to try to help them and to try to help them achieve their win when it's not really a team sport. Of your teammate driving well does not guarantee your spot in a car next year. And in a sport like F1 where there is such a limited number of spots, I think it's a lot to ask someone to not give up their race, but really prioritize someone else over them for the entire race. There's different consequences of, yes, it was the world championship on the line and stuff like that. There's also the Constructors' Cup, which is a team tally of points the entire F1 season. So that one does make sense to be working together to a certain extent. But the Netflix series Drive to Survive definitely dramatizes it. But I do think it's just so interesting of kind of with golf as well. We are a non-team sport. You're playing alone, but then your score combines for your team. It doesn't really change how much you do things, but there is a level of sometimes you would be going for it if you were just playing by yourself. But then knowing that your score is going to count for the entire team, you might take a step back, go a little easier, take a more conservative route, stuff like that. I just think looking at other sports, the less well-known sports, F1 to me is so interesting because it's also a sport that is just so unshamefully money driven. And
it's got unique layers to it.
It is.
The politics of F1 is the biggest. I used to just think forever, oh, you go out there racing these super fast cars, and then, you also watch the Netflix series is how I got more into it, and you figure I was like, man, there's a lot of politics into this, but like these people are working together that you didn't really fully understand, and the more you watch it, you're like, there's so much money flying around that's why these conversations are having.
Oh yeah. And like what's interesting in Drive to Survive is you have those multiple moments where it's, hey, actually, like you're going to let this person pass, like let your teammate pass. And those are the moments where I would love to think that I would be a good team player and be like, okay, but I think I would hate that. I think I would take off.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I mean, again, I don't know how much money. Do you know how much those guys get paid? Those F1 drivers, like some of the best?
I don't know.
It's been a while since I looked at that number. And obviously, if you win or not, you're going to get all the extra benefits to it. But it is a money-rich sport. Way more money than I think people fully understand that goes into it. And the politics of F1.
Quick look online says for top drivers, it's 15 million to 65 million plus, which is a massive range. But that is the AI overview. So that's probably why it's so big. But yeah, F1 just kind of caught my interest this week. I have been watching and following it a little more since I watched that Drive to Survive series, and I subscribe to the athletic newsletter that gives you all the F1 news every morning. So
you like F1 or NASCAR? Which one?
I like F1 more.
Okay.
Which my teacher over at the J School, Bill Dolman, would be very disappointed to hear me say that. He's a big IndyCar guy, but yeah, F1. Really quickly, Husker game of the week to watch has to be volleyball versus number 16 Kentucky on Friday. Mentioned it, they haven't dropped a set since November 14th. They're coming off one of their worst hitting percentages of the season, but they still swept K-State. They'll be facing head coach Matt Ulmer. He came over from Oregon, so he's seen the Huskers before. Will they be able to pull off the win and possibly set up a rematch between DBK and her former team, Louisville? Watch out for that game on Friday. A full slate of great NFL games. And let's see if the Husker basketball teams can stay undefeated. Thanks so much for spending your Thursday night with me. Going to take a quick hiatus as I go home for the holiday break, but then I'll be back in the new year for more Arden's Angle with Arden Louchheim. Thanks for listening.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that.